What up, good people? And you bad people too. This is me, the MATTWOODS. And on the call today, got two old school, long time friends, homies, and all that good stuff. Scott Make It Rain Fame.
Hey, what's up? I'm Scott Make It Rain Fain, cut from paper, built from pain, here to teach, reach, and entertain.
Well, I'm here for it. And we got Lucinda Campbell, aka Lulu.
Hi, everybody. Happy to be here and be with two of my favorite souls.
That's what's up. That's
Thank
what's
you, thank
up.
you.
So we're gonna jump right on into it. This is a little wild food in Virginia, y'all. You know, Scott Make It Rain Fame does his container gardening at his place. And we're gonna talk about some of the pictures that you sent over. So this first picture, I know some type of cucumber. Is this lemon cucumber?
Honestly, I do not know. What I did was I had that dirt in that pot
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't do anything with it, ignored it, and like a little sprout came up and I recognized the sprout as some sort of cucumber. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it and see what happens. And it's been growing. I just put a little fertilizer in it today just to kind of see if I could get some cucumbers out of it because it's like got a lot of buds, but no action yet.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? It's a lot to break down in what you just said, but the first part was that you don't know what that is. And I'm all for that. I have so many plants that I don't know what they are. But it's okay. I don't even trip because like you say, sometimes things start sprouting and it'll be doing really good. So it honestly looks like lemon cucumber. Have you grown lemon cucumber before?
I never have. I got a few different varieties of cucumber this year, but I got them from a nursery. So this one felt like it came from a seed. So it might be, I forget what kind of cucumber it was. It wasn't lemon cucumber. It was the kind you get like at the grocery store, the one with the seeds in it,
Mm-hmm.
not the English cucumber, the other one.
Gotcha, gotcha. Oh yeah, the little skinny one that usually
Yeah,
comes
not
in the
that,
plastic. Oh,
but the other kind that, the ones that we grew up eating.
okay. I'm not sure, but moving right along though. How long is it? It looked like it's going over the rail.
No, not quite. It's maybe like another 6 inches taller than that.
Okay, okay, cool. And now what's that to the left of it? What's that leafy
Oh,
thing?
that's a dahlia plant. I got it from the farmer's market, and the guy told me that it's beautiful pink blooms, blossoms on it,
Hmm.
and he was like, put it in a someplace where you get like medium sun, like not a lot of direct, and I put it like right behind my grill, so it gets sun, but not a ton of it, and it's just been, it'll sprout a few plants, sprout a few blooms, and you clip them and put them in the house. They're real pretty. It just look nice.
Yeah, yeah. You got any feedback, Lulu?
The only thing I would say is that it's really nice seeing and hearing Scott talk about where he started and what he's building because um, where I live in an apartment complex, I'm looking at this with the idea or with the thought of like orchids and simple things that I could do to add fresh and more agriculture to my living environment. So.
I'm
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
No, I that's right on point because as I looked at the pictures before we started the call, I'm like, the real vibe of this is container gardening. So yeah, so let's go on to the next one. All right, now this lemon balm?
It is.
Okay.
That's what I was mentioning it this morning because like I grew some in that same spot almost year before last, and I didn't do anything with it, and I just kind of left it, and it just kind of overgrew and got really, really big. So I this year I wanted to spend some more time making my apothecary, shelf on my, in my kitchen. And so I'm gonna take that, harvest a lot of that and dry it out. And I should have enough grow time for to get another harvest or two out of it, before the winter.
Now these are perennials, correct?
I don't know for certain.
I
I
think
think they keep coming back though. Yeah.
yeah, I think they're perennials. Now, why did you start growing it? What are you going to be using it for?
Tea, teas, tinctures, tonics, things like that.
Hmm.
For remember for a while I was doing brewing my own kombucha, and that was an experience. It was fun, but it was so much work involved to do it. It kind of turned me off of continuing because it was just a lot,
Hmm.
and I was the only one drinking it. And yeah, but that got me started on kind of brewing things and create my own little tonics and stuff like that, and make a nice tea.
Okay. Now, do you know any of the health benefits? Are you drinking it like with purpose in that regard?
I didn't get it for that purpose. Initially, I got it because that's like I want to be able to put a lemon flavor in my tea,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, I know it has some kind of history, like it's in the mint family, so I know it has some kind of medicinal purposes or whatever. But I didn't. Do you know?
Yeah, help with anxiety,
Mm.
improve sleep, digestive issues. And that's just what came up on Google so far.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like I had that in my back pocket. But yeah. I was gonna be like, break it down like I knew all of this stuff, but but yeah, but I love lemon balm. I love the smell of it.
Hmm.
Um, it's one of those plants that when people come through who are new to gardening, you give them a little bit just to like, smell that. And they're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh wow, you know. So there's a lot of little plants that I have in the garden that like lemon balm that, are really cool to smell.
I
Uh,
like having a tasting garden, one that you can kind of pick a leaf here, pick a leaf there. I
right.
haven't actually tried the lemon balm to taste.
Yeah.
Have you tasted it? Like
No,
just
well,
the
no, I haven't. This is my first year growing it. The lemon verdena, however you say it. I had that and it's good. My plant died. I didn't take care of it, but I did try that one. It's good.
I got a little bit of that. It hasn't been doing fantastic, but it's still trucking along.
Oh,
Lemon verbena, whatever. I
something.
have some. Yeah, I got some.
Okay. Well, you have another picture, another plant in this picture, and that's one of my favorites, the nasturtium. I always call it my Nostradamus plant. But tell me about those nasturtiums back there. Have they
Well,
flowered yet?
that those have not, but those were actually a companion plant to the tomato plant that used to be in that bucket. The tomato plant died off. I don't. Those three, I got a picture of it later, but those three just didn't do anything this year. They just kind of withered away and died. But the nasturtium I planted to keep the insects from eating the tomato plant, they're doing pretty good. No blooms though, not yet.
Did you start that from seed?
Yeah. I
Oh,
usually I'll take it because they recommend you put them in water for like a couple hours and then pop them in the dirt. And so I did that when I planted the tomato plants, the seedlings in the buckets. I put a few seeds of nasturtium right alongside it.
okay. I like the way the little seeds look too, by the way.
Hmm.
Like little cartoon,
Chickpeas.
like little cartoon peanuts. But yeah. Lulu, you got anything to say on this?
Mm-mm. No, I like the explanation though that Scott is providing because I had no idea.
Yeah.
So
To the right of that is my oregano.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
yeah. So I like the explanation that Scott's doing for someone who's fresh to it because for me I'm like, oh, look at these nice green leaves. And for Scott to go on and he's talking about this is oregano and he's talking about this. So I like the
Well,
explanation.
since, since you before you go too far, the flowering of the oregano, I didn't mean for that to happen. I just kind of neglected trimming it, but I've been trimming it away to keep the flowers off, just so I can keep growing it. So it'll keep focusing on making new leaves for
Hmm.
eating. And so that is a rare find. Is the bloom there on the oregano.
Now, did you plant that from seed this year, or is this a plant from
This
last year?
year, no, no.
Is it a plant from
Everything
last year?
I actually had to take it out. It had overgrown. I didn't do anything with it last year from the previous year, and I just let it go, stay through the winter, and it did good. I mean, it hung out. and then it came back in the spring, and it just kind of overgrew to the point where like the stems and stuff started to get woody and hard.
Yeah.
And by the winter, I was like, I'm gonna take this out and start again. So that's what I did this year. So these are from seedlings.
From seedlings this year though.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we got some wild oregano on at 902. And I don't use it often, and I think it's the same variety. But there's another variety of oregano that I like better than this one. But yeah, but this is cool, and everything in here is in this picture is edible, including the nasturtium. I haven't tried the nasturtium, but I know they say you can put the leaves in salads. So
You
it's like,
can. It has like a peppery taste.
yeah, that's what I heard. That's what I read. So, okay, well, let's move on. 'Cause I know we could talk about these plants. We got nine more slides to go. So let's kind of get through this. Now, what is this I'm looking at?
That's sage, just like regular sage.
Hmm.
I just let it keep growing, and so basically, I'm just gonna harvest that back, and some of it I'm gonna dry out, like for cooking at Thanksgiving or whatever. But the rest of it, I'm thinking about bundling it up into small, uh, like packages.
Hmm.
So, once it dries out, I can, burn sage and cleanse areas and stuff like that. I've never actually done that, but I'm like, you know what? Hey, I got sage to use. Might as well do something. See if that does anything for my home. Cleanse out
Yeah.
the evil.
You know what? That's a thing I might do. I have I forget what it's called. It's something meadow sage, like MEADOW. Uh,
Meadow sage.
something meadow sage. There's a lot of it. I need to try to propagate it, and I need to see if it will kind of roll up like mugwort. I told you how mugwort you could just kind of like ball it up and then you can burn
Yeah.
it. I
Hmm.
don't know if sage is like that, but I've been wanting to
It
try
it
it.
has been in my experience. It's like that. Like
You can just ball it up without putting it.
yeah, like I
Okay.
put between the dried leaves, I put it between my hands and just kind of do that, and
Yeah.
it will like ball. It turns into like this powdery ball.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't hold together, like it doesn't stay a ball, but it
Yeah.
clumps really nicely.
Hmm.
And I think that's how they do rubbed sage. Now that I'm thinking of the name, but yeah, that's the texture you get. It's just like a thick powder almost.
I'm gonna have to try that out. 'Cause I've been wanting to propagate it. I imagine it can be propagated, but that's one of the things that, in terms of de-lawning areas, land and whatnot, like,
Hmm.
propagating using, the propagation method to uh, add new perennials. Because, these plants can be very expensive, but it's like free to propagate them, and a lot of them propagate really, really well, especially some of those native perennials. So, yeah, yeah. Okay. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do this call, to be able to get motivated by other gardeners such as yourself, see what's going on in Virginia. I know we do this thing all the time anyway with Wild Food in Youngstown. You know what's going on, but it's good to know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Now,
Yeah, these are my the ones that I had trouble with this year. Those all had tomatoes. They were all above, like where you see the lines there. That's where I was trellising
yeah,
them. They were all up to that point, and they just kind of started getting yellow leaves. I was trimming back the stuff that wasn't looking good, and eventually they just kind of petered out. Didn't produce hardly anything. So I haven't decided what I want to do with them. Actually, I take that back. I trimmed a few of my other tomato plants and
mhm,
put those in water. And I was going to, once they started rooting, I was going to put them into those and see if I could do it again or see if, see
mhm.
what would happen with them.
Yeah, that's a good idea because to propagate your tomatoes is plenty of time left in the season to do that. Plenty of time, especially for tomatoes, you
Oh,
know.
good.
And that's the thing, with the gardening. There's a lot more time than what we think, or what they want us to believe. And I say they being like, the different places that sell, gardening equipment, seedlings and stuff like that. Because by like the end of June, and it seems like maybe even before the end of June, but most people just stop selling seedlings.
They do.
And it doesn't make sense. Like I don't, especially when they can make money selling it. It's like, why do they stop selling it? Because people
Well,
will definitely
they're
buy it.
always a season behind, season ahead, right? Like when we done with, by the time we get our Halloween candy, they're starting to put out the stuff for Thanksgiving and Christmas. So they're trying to make room for all the stuff that comes right after, you know?
Yeah, but it just goes so fast with the gardening. It goes so fast. And that's another reason why propagating is a good method as well. That way a person can, keep on reproducing plants. But yeah. I will, yeah, like I said, I could keep on talking about propagating, but back to your buckets, this is another good idea for the container gardening. These are what, the 5 gallon buckets?
Yeah. I've got a 5 gallon bucket, a small hole. You can kind of see where that dirt is kind of leaking out of the bottom there.
Hmm.
Small hole at the bottom, about 5 inches up from the bottom, and there's a, a empty. Well, there's an empty reservoir of space there because I have a 1 gallon milk jug that has a bunch of holes in it. That's at the end of that tube there. So basically, I put that at the bottom, fill it in with dirt and whatnot. And once you fill it, there's always going to be a little reservoir of water at the bottom. So once the plant's roots get down to it, it can keep drinking. And you can water it from the tube, or you can water it from the top, and it just kind of soaks down into there. And yeah, it gives it that. I think you're supposed to have a little bit of aeration on the roots, and that's what it gives it, that space to drink when it wants.
Okay. I like that. I like that. Now, do you find are you using a combination of the cages and the string to hold the tomatoes up, or what's going on there?
When they're not tall enough to do anything, I put the cages up just to kind of give them a little bit of support. But then once they start branching and getting larger and taller, I use the string, and I've got like poles every, say, about 6 feet. You can kind of see them on the right and left there.
Mm.
There's poles that I put in, that I put into the ground to tie that string to. And basically, it's sort of a crisscross. Like if I go I'll start from one, tie a little bit, and then go in front of one plant, behind the next one, and in front of the other one, swirl it around, and then do the opposite on the way back. And it gives it a little bit of um, strength, or you know what I mean, to keep
Hmm.
the stems up. Because I
Right.
was reading that you're supposed to let them get a lot of air, and so I just try and keep instead of, because I tried it the other way and they just kind of go all over the place and you can't get any air to the roots. You can't get any, and I didn't get any tomatoes. So I said, I want some
Yes.
tomatoes.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you put this picture in here and sharing the story about how, these tomatoes didn't make it, and how got some ready to go back in there, because that's the thing about gardening. We can't save all of the plants. Like we want
Mm-hmm.
to, but it just doesn't happen. You got the critters that could come in and eat the stuff. You just got, the weather might not be favorable, all these different things. So that's why, gardening is a consistent sport. We gotta stay on top of it. All right. So now this one, it's at the bottom of your steps here, about the bottom
Yeah.
of the patio. So
Yeah.
what we got here? This is
That,
tomato.
no, 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 no. These are around the buckets in the bottom are all potatoes.
Oh, okay.
Like that potato there, actually, I had it and it had just sat too long and it was starting to shrivel up, and it had the little sprouts and things, and I was about to throw it away, and I put it in some water outside and it sprouted roots, and I just threw it in the bottom of the bucket to see if I could get some potatoes out of it. And then those over there, the ones that are really nice, pretty leaves, the heart-shaped leaves, those are sweet potatoes. And
Mm,
those have taken off. And those are just sweet potatoes I bought from the market that sat too long and had some things on it. What do you call them?
spuds.
Spuds or whatever. And so I threw those into buckets to see if I can get some sweet potatoes out of it. And basically, the sweet potatoes are getting really, really, they're growing well, but they kind of took over that top. Like that plant in the middle is my chamomile plant, and I need to separate it from there and trim out the dead and harvest some of it so I can get some before it gets too late in the season because I feel like it's stunting. It's getting stunted.
Okay. Lulu, do you have any feedback on this picture?
I don't have any feedback on this picture. I did want to speak to the slide beforehand, where it showed a fail,
Hmm.
or if not a fail, it showed that they didn't take root and sprout. I think that there's a lot to be said for what Scott was speaking on about the process and what happened, and then, how you two are configuring it so it doesn't happen again. But then I thought it was really interesting seeing the engineering of 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 how that works, which I thought was really interesting to see that with, for me with my mind, the way I work, you get a pot and some dirt and you put some seeds in and you water it and pray. But it's really interesting to see the engineering and the different types of homemade engineering that doesn't have to be so high tech either.
That part, that part. And that's my favorite part. It doesn't have to be high tech. Just get in there and just figure it out. Saying, do what you got to do. Actually, me and Johnny D from YO, he's going to be helping me cut some wood today for some steaks and just some simple strips of wood with a little point at the end, like you're gonna hang up a sign, like on back in the day, there's some Little Rascals type stuff. That's all I'm gonna use to stick my stuff into the ground and tie it up.
let,
So mhm.
let him join the He-Man Woman Haters Club, man.
The He-Man, huh?
You don't remember? You said Little Rascals. I thought you knew about the He-Man Woman Haters Club. You don't remember that?
Oh nah. That's funny. That's funny.
They were always kind of they didn't want the girls to come in and all that, so that was the name of their little club that they made.
Well,
Anyway,
okay.
I thought you knew. That's just a
Nah.
close up. That's a close up of the chamomile plant.
Yeah. Okay.
There's lavender to the left. That's never done anything.
Lavender to the left. Oh,
Yeah, that
oh,
one.
oh.
Yeah,
That okay.
that's just lavender.
Okay.
That might be the wrong spot for it, to be honest.
All right. Now I know that. That's chocolate mint.
No, berry mint.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the one on the right, the plants on the right is all the I got that seedling from the farmer's market, and you can kind of see. Well, actually, yeah, the
Oh,
picture to the right is that thread that comes down.
hmm.
That is coming from the berry mint, and I think it's just trying to get to the ground so it can take root and really take off.
Does it smell like berry? Does it have a
Yeah,
berry taste?
it has a light berry smell to it.
Oh, okay.
The other one,
what do you use it for?
well, I got it because it smelled like berries, and I wanted to be able to make drinks or do whatever I want to do with it, or make tea with it. So
Hmm.
that's all I'm gonna do is harvest it, dry it out, make tea.
Okay. That's dope. I almost want what, let's do an experiment. Let's see if you can mail me some of that. Let's see if it lives.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got an idea how to do it.
Okay. I want some of that. And I love the way it's hanging down. I love that. I love that. Yeah, okay. Okay. I want to compare stories, but we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on. And then Lulu, you got anything on this?
No, just that, just to introduce, it's very interesting as you all are going through these slides, which are well prepared, as you're going through these slides, um, to hear what they are. Because I'm like, all right, so it's another slide with green leaves. All right. And then, like, so, and then, then to hear the explanation, and then you're like, no, it's potatoes, and then it's
Mhm.
this or it's this. So in my mind, it helps it to focus again and to align with things that come from the earth, start as a seed, usually.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, and to the left of the berry, that's mojito mint, and that is a leftover from. Oh, I should have told that one. I had a mojito mint plant. It grew all season. This is like last year, and then it was most. It looked dead. You know, all the leaves and stuff, everything had dried up on it, and so I tossed it into the compost. The you know the compost in my little raised bed garden, and after the winter, it started to sprout mint again. So I pulled it out of the compost and put it in its, in here, and this is it's just kind of flourishing. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
that resurrected mint.
Yeah, I just was looking up some of the health benefits of it. These benefits include aiding digestion, promoting respiratory health, potentially supporting oral hygiene, and offering stress relief.
Hmm.
I'll have to go
That's
out there
pretty
and get some
cool.
today. I've done that though. Have you done that with the mint? Like taking the fresh mint leaves and put it in the hot water and
Man,
made tea
all
with
the
it?
time. Shoot,
Okay.
all the time. And well, like I said, I don't want to get all deep into a long conversation because I have kind of a long conversation on each of these slides, but it is worth saying a few extra words about the mint because it's so easy to grow. Mint takes over if you let it. Mint will take over if you let it. So it's like for someone it produces so many leaves, you get so much out of it with so little effort. I'm really surprised that, we don't see more people growing mint and using mint, you know, because it just grows so easily. So I'm really like trying to attract someone that wants to grow mint and work with it because we have so much at the garden. Like it's so much. Like when I harvested about like 10 pounds and dehydrated it. So that's pretty much enough mint tea for the winter for me.
Hmm.
But it's still I just tossed out maybe about 20 pounds of mint that I'm not going to do anything with. So yeah, mint is one of those things that like for me, um, where we're at now at the Baldwin Garden, it was already there. It's the first thing to grow in the summer and it's the last thing to leave. So I'm like, okay, so I'm like, all right, I want to be able to do something more with this mint. So, but anyway, yeah, I can keep on talking about that. I'm trying to be concise, but yeah, definitely send me both of them if you don't mind, the berry and the mojito mint, and then I'll do a video planting that stuff and making it happen. So, yeah.
All right. Yeah, I just but the one point you made about the not using it like mint. I saw something about do you remember that borax?
Yes.
Some guy did a video on like I guess they did that was what they used to use to clean like everything, and it was good and it worked,
Mm-hmm.
but people got so into like the fancier marketing for like all fantastic all these different
Yeah.
cleaners and things, and it's like people stopped using borax, but it's like that stuff is $6 a box. You can clean everything and everything gets really good and clean with it. So I just bought a box of borax the other day just to kind of reintroduce myself to it,
So how did that tie into the mint though?
because it was another thing that people aren't using that is available, like the mint. It's available, it's abundant, you can grow it easy, it's cheap, and
Gotcha.
it does so many different things, and
Gotcha.
just kind of got reacquainted with it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Hmm.
All right. Now, are those ground cherries?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes, yes. They're looking good.
I'm thinking of, do I need to thin them out or something?
I was going to
Because I haven't,
say it looks like you probably should, but because one plant goes crazy.
like from one seed.
Well, yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, because it looks
Oh
like
yeah,
you got about 4 or 5 in one container.
probably more than that. Because basically, I took they sell them at the grocery store where I'm at least in some parts of the year. And so I bought some very early in the season, and I just took a ground cherry, cut it like into like a little sliver,
Mm,
because it has the seeds in it, and just put that in the middle of the dirt, and it sprouted seeds from it. And I thin it when it was like smaller, and pulled, extra ones out. And I just stopped doing it. And that's what it's doing now. But it hasn't, I'm still waiting for it to eat a ground cherry. This is my second year trying to get them to grow. I mean, they did well like this and better last year. But by the time they actually started to sprout those little pods, it was November almost. And they just immediately died off as soon as the cold hit.
Well, one, I love ground cherries. I'm so glad that Gnome's Home and Garden introduced me to ground cherries. And when I grew them, they were, I kept them separate. They were all, each plant was at least a foot apart. But those suckers produced. I mean, they produced. So yeah, so I would do an experiment just to maybe put, a couple in their own pot and see if they do better than the other ones.
Okay. I think I do have an extra grow bag or two I can use.
Hmm. And then on the left there, I see a jalapeno pepper, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah, just the one, but I got a few peppers on there.
I
That's the
see.
only pepper I've been
Oh,
getting this year
oh
is the
really?
jalapeno. I got
Oh,
a couple of poblano pepper plants back there. You can kind of see them in little, not the yellow bucket. That's a chiltepine pepper. That one, I'm finally starting to get a little bit of something, buds that might turn into peppers on that. But the poblano peppers, I don't even have any blooms or anything. It's just like I'm
mm.
growing it to grow pretty green
Right,
leaves.
right. Okay. All right. Now that's more oregano.
Yeah,
And
that's a
uh
gift. That one was a gift.
and
I
what
was
about
just gonna. Mhm.
hold on, that's I'm trying to name it without you telling me. What is that? Rosemary.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Now
then
go ahead.
sage in the back. It's basically Kim went to the farmer's market on a day when I was just tired, didn't want to go, and she saw that and picked it up for me. I have to take them out of that pot. That's how they put them together, but it just feels like a little bit too crowded, you know. So I'm
Well,
gonna separate them.
um, I got a book. Something
So
somebody
things are
somebody gave me this book, and it was about container gardening, and it actually had the plants close together like that. I think it was like gardening for, in limited space type book or whatever, container porch gardening, something. But that's common for it to be like that, you know. It's not
Oh, okay.
ideal to, saying
Or maybe
really,
I just need to cut it back or something
yeah,
because it was already flowering when I got it.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
I
like,
it's
hmm
no, it looked like it was gonna. It needed to be. It just looks like it needed more space or something like that.
So what I've been doing, I got different plants kind of close together as well. And I resolved that like I need to clip this stuff more often. And instead of using it for, like a cooking in a dish, instead of cooking with it, using it in a dish or something like that, I'll just like, put it into a smoothie, and
Okay.
making some like kind of awkward combinations, but they've been coming out good, but it's requiring me to clip the stuff more, which is good because it's keeping the plant nice and trimmed up and it's producing more. And I'm getting the health benefits of it on a regular basis because I wasted so much food the previous years, you know.
Same. Yeah.
Yeah. So to have a little small space like that and it's growing well and you're clipping it and dehydrating it, that's a whole other subject. It's like so necessary to have a dehydrator if you're doing gardening because that will help you preserve stuff too. But anyway, we'll get to that. I think on your last slide here. All right. And I'm sorry, Lulu, I've been forgetting to ask if you have any feedback.
No, no. The last 5 to 7 minutes has been very, very thorough and rich with regards to explanation.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. Oh, now that's Lulu, you know what that is? Does that look familiar?
It's a pot with flowers in it.
Yeah. Now what what kind of flowers? What Cauliflower. Take a close look now. Hold on. Let me. I know you've seen that before.
Yeah, green ones.
Let
Green.
her know what that is. Scott, make it rain.
That is dandelion, dandelion leaves. I picked them up and tried. I've been trying to grow them so that I can harvest the leaves and because they're good in tea and for your digestion and whatnot. I'd love to try and make the petal wine, but I just don't have that many dandelions growing around me to harvest them like that. At
Gosh.
least none that I feel comfortable with.
Excuse me. Hmm.
Because you need like a few pounds or something, I think, of the
But
you know
wait,
the yellow tops.
I thought dandelions were weeds.
They are, but they're very healthy. Like you can use those greens, like you can do those. They sell dandelion greens at Wegmans, where I'm at up here, but they're like huge compared to what I got there. Um,
Gotcha.
but you can use them as greens. You can make like a really good pot liquor with them, and have that as far as like a broth or something like that. And it's good for your, I think it's digestive system and a few other things. That's why it made me so, when I started learning about them and everything, and you find out that for years we've been trying to kill off this stuff that's like amazing medicine for you, and
Hmm,
we're killing it off because it doesn't make your lawn, which gives you nothing except having to cut it every week. It gives you that medicine and health and all this wonderful things, and we're trying to kill it off. It just seemed ridiculous. That's why I wanted to plant some.
Yeah, no,
interesting.
dandelion, it definitely has a lot of health benefits. I just Googled a couple. It's an antioxidant, helps to lower blood pressure, regulate blood sugar, help manage weight. So and yeah, it grows like the dandelion that grows everywhere, in your front yard and all of that. It's the same one with all the health benefits. But people, and I'm sorry, my battery is going low, but for whatever reason, I plugged it up and it's not. Hold on a second, y'all. Okay, there we go. But yeah, so like you said, Scott, because it doesn't give a certain look, and that's that look that we're taught that the lawn should be all nice and neat and no quote unquote weeds and whatnot. And the more I garden, the more I learn about like, wow, like so I'll leave dandelions up in certain areas of the yard now. I'll cut around it. And plus it's the first food for the bees.
Mhm.
The bees love the dandelions and we cut them all down, so it's one of those things that we really, really should not be messing with these dandelions,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, remember earlier in the season, there was the other plant, the dead nettle.
yes.
That's another one. It's growing up all, right around my lawn. I'm cutting it up with the lawnmower most of the time until this year when I finally, we got educated on what it was and all the health benefits and everything. And by the time I could have harvested some still. Like the next week, it all died off for the year.
Right. That's how it was with me. I harvested some, but I thought it was just gonna be there because I never paid attention to it closely. But now next year, and that's one of those other ones that's the first to grow, is dead nettle, and that tea is delicious. I still have some left, but it is delicious. That's some of my favorite tea. And
Hmm.
all this while it's growing wild everywhere, and it has a lot
Yeah,
of benefits.
I
Crazy.
know a lot of places I could pick some of that stuff up.
Yep. 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 As a matter of fact, that even comes up before the mint as I think about it.
I
It
think
comes
it
up
does.
before the peppermint. So,
It's like ramps. You've heard of those, haven't you? Ramps.
mm-mm.
Like in the beginning of the spring, they're like they look sort of like scallions with like green onions.
Mm.
But they have like purplish tops. Where the onion part is, and they taste like a light garlic flavor. And they grow for maybe like 2, 3 weeks at the beginning of the spring, and then they're gone. So when you go to the farmer's market, the first few weeks, you can usually buy ramps. And that's when people usually go, you get all your ramp stuff out the way. Like I think I have some, they made the farmer that they were selling them, they actually had ramp mustard, like they made mustard with ramps and whatnot,
Okay.
flavored with ramps.
No, that's what's up. That's what's up.
Hmm.
All right, we're gonna move on to the next one.
Hmm.
Now, this is part of what prompted this call when you said earlier today, because I was talking about the mullein. Is that how you pronounce it? The mullein plant?
I've heard it your way and mullen,
Mullein.
both way. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was talking about that, and then you mentioned about, having your home apothecary and having to go to have, different dehydrated herbs and things like that. And I see you got a start of that going on here. I see this middle shelf down here. Is that where you have your herbs and stuff at?
Yeah, I do. I like on the shelf right there below the big metal box, which is a bread maker. To the right, one more, or actually one, go over to your right a little bit more. One more. That's my stevia. I just dried it out. I actually put it in a little bag and put it on the porch in the sun, and it dried it out over the course of a day. And I was able to put it away. But basically, I want to, get some more, and I'm going to blend it in on a powder, and then use that for my tea. Like if I want to add a little bit of sweetness without sugar.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the rest of that stuff is I love going to the Asian market and other places and picking up things and like trying them, having them for later. So like there's licorice root there because I was making a Chinese master stock to cook chicken and meat in, and that's one of the ingredients there. So I'll pick up stuff in anticipation of making it later, and just so I can make anything, or not anything, but just I'm able to make more things because I picked up this little obscure ingredient that is important to this dish or to that dish. So that's what that thing is. I even think there's on the shelf below, I had citronella last year, and it wasn't doing too great. So I chopped it all down and took all the citronella I had and infused it in some olive oil. And then when I want to go outside and keep the bugs off me, I'll just put a little of that citronella olive oil on.
That's dope. That's dope. You out here like Papa Smurf. You got some eye of newt and wing of bat up in there. Yeah, so that's dope. I love that. I love that. Now, do you have a dehydrator?
Yeah. We got something. We had one in our oven, but the oven broke. Our last oven, so we got a little toaster oven that actually has an air fryer and a dehydrator in it. But I haven't actually used it yet.
Okay. Okay. Well, that's what's up. Well, this was definitely fun. We're gonna stop for the sake of the recording, but of course we're gonna keep the conversation going on a day by day basis. Lulu, do you have any last words to close with?
Yeah, I was going to say that I don't think what you all are doing and what you're all talking about with regards to the slides, and then like this last slide here, what I'm seeing, like for me, when I look at the last slide, it's like this is where it starts and this is how it ends up in our refrigerator or in our cupboard or at our grocery store. So I think this is really, really good. Just kind of fleshing out some of the simplicity behind it. And I think that's one thing listening to Scott, just with his last point that he made, um, about how he used it to do this and he used it to do that and he used it to do that. So I thought that was really, really interesting as well.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
Bravo.
yeah. And hopefully it motivates, people to get out there and try. So Scott, do you got any final words?
Yeah, my only thought, especially when I look at this thing, is I definitely want to spend some time reorganizing that. It gets a little bit unwieldy, and uh, I've got some more family when my son got married. So there's some things on on those shelves that I didn't put there, but they do come in handy to just have some things available to experiment and try, and different dishes that you can, I'm big on what do you call that? Traveling with my palate, not necessarily having to go someplace, but finding, I'll look on the Food Network, see something interesting from this place or that place, and find a recipe and just give it a shot. You never
Right,
know.
Yeah, I
right,
think that's
right.
what I'm liking to hear is the application of it. And I think that Scott has done a really good job of showing the application of it. Not just the beginning to end, the full scope of it.
Right, right, right. And then, like you said, you got started. You cool with putting a picture up here, even though it's not as organized as you would like it to be. 'Cause I'm the same way with the garden and whatnot, because sometimes, people will make you feel that it's got to be all perfect, like your garden got to be all perfect and this and that and that and this. And if you go into gardening with that mindset, trying to please somebody else, you ain't gonna make it because people always gonna have something negative to say. But I applaud what you're doing, man. I like the way it's all organized, and in my opinion, especially that below the bread shelf, all your different herbs and stuff like that. I know it like when you open up one of those jars, just the fragrance that comes out of there, you know what I'm saying? And then even in the winter time to have those things in the winter, those spring and summer smells, you can open it up and smell the spring, the summer, in the winter. So I'm loving that. I'm loving that. So on that note, I appreciate y'all taking the time to be on this call with me. As y'all know, I'm the MATTWOODS, and we talking wild food in Youngstown, y'all, or I should say Virginia. Peace.
Peace.